Whoa, nice graphics. Hey guys, Nintendrew here. I've just been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza on a massive 171-inch virtual screen with real-time spatial tracking thanks to the new XREAL One Pro AR glasses. And this setup is genuinely a game changer. But that's not all they can do. If you're anything like me and truly miss the era of 3D gaming, you won't want to miss this one. Let's get to it. Alright, first things first, let's address the elephant in the room. No, not that one. This video is sponsored by XREAL. They were kind enough to reach out and offer to sponsor a showcase. But why is this video sponsored? Well, two reasons. One, I'm gonna get that bag. And two, my contract with XREAL explicitly stipulates that this video must show my honest opinions, so I won't be holding back any punches. Honestly, I couldn't ask for a better clause in a contract, so thank you so much to XREAL for sending in this pair for review. With that out of the way, let's talk about the price. These bad boys retail for $649 US. Certainly not budget tech we're talking about here. However, in the context of the high-end gaming monitors and VR/AR headsets that this device is aiming to replace, that MSRP starts to make a lot more sense. And as you're about to see, it also is chock full of new features and improvements to help justify that price tag. Now, let's run through the basic specs of these specs, because they really pack a punch. First off, they weigh just 87 grams, super lightweight, lighter than most smartphones in fact. Inside, you get dual Sony Micro OLED panels, each at 1080p and 120Hz, that deliver a crisp image with a true-to-life 57-degree field of view. Not quite the field of view you'd get from a full VR headset, but certainly wide enough for deep immersion. Out of the box, the glasses have built-in spatial tracking with 3 degrees of freedom, powered by XREAL's proprietary X1 chip. This is a custom spatial tracker that you won't find anywhere else, which helps keep everything super smooth and responsive. They also come with built-in open-ear Bose speakers, so the sound quality is surprisingly good for something so tiny. That means if you're taking these glasses to play games or watch movies on the go, you don't even necessarily have to pack along a pair of headphones. And here is probably my favorite new feature of the One Pro glasses: electrochromic dimming. At the press of a button, you can darken the lenses for total immersion, and you can even look away from your virtual screen to let the world back in and see what's behind it. It feels like magic. I have been geeking out about this for weeks. It's really hard to convey in a YouTube video just how phenomenal this virtual screen looks in person, but I will do my best to give you a sense of the scale and immersion that you can expect. Pretty much anything that can output video over USB-C can be played on this 171-inch virtual screen. So for your phone or Steam Deck, you just plug in the glasses and you're set. Now, consoles like the Switch 2 output video over HDMI, but the XREAL One Pro requires USB-C input. So how do we get around this? Well, for console compatibility, all you'll need is a cheap HDMI to USB-C powered adapter. I was able to find this one on Amazon for about 20 bucks. This can be plugged into the HDMI port of your Switch 2 dock and can be powered by one of the USB-C ports on the dock. So once you got both of those plugged in, you're good to go. Also, I would like to add, I was told by XREAL that there is a device in the works that will ultimately allow these glasses to interface with the Switch 2 without the need for a standard dock. It's called the XREAL Neo, and it's coming later this year, so I will definitely look forward to that development. Now, one of the coolest aspects of using the XREAL One Pro with a PC is the ability to switch into Ultrawide Mode. We're talking about a virtual 330-inch curved display with up to a 32:9 aspect ratio. This makes multitasking a breeze whether you're coding, managing multiple apps, or just browsing the web, and it's also really great for Steam games and emulators that can benefit from that wider field of view. That being said, Ultrawide Mode is currently only supported on PC, so if you're on mobile or console, you won't be able to access this feature just yet. But for PC users, it's genuinely impressive and opens up a lot of productivity and entertainment possibilities. Now, if you want to take these glasses even further, XREAL offers a couple of pretty neat accessories. First is the XREAL Eye, which is an optional camera attachment that adds 6 degrees of freedom tracking. That's the kind of spatial tracking you usually only see in high-end VR headsets like the Apple Vision Pro, but at like a fifth of the cost. What this means practically is that you can actually place your virtual screen in your physical space and then move around it, getting closer or farther away, and it will stay anchored exactly where you put it. And the best part? Thanks to that X1 chip, it all happens right inside the glasses, so there's no extra setup or external software required. The second accessory is the Beam Pro. This is a dedicated Android-powered companion device that works as an AR app hub and can capture 3D photos and videos that play back in true stereoscopic 3D on the glasses. Now, this is another pricey add-on, and the camera quality is fairly modest, but I can't lie, I've really enjoyed having it on hand and ready to go with AR content in just a few taps. Honestly, I might have to shoot my next game room tour in stereoscopic 3D with this thing, just because I can. Speaking of 3D, a couple years back, I published a video in which I used the original XREAL Air glasses to create a next-gen Virtual Boy experience with the help of a Steam Deck. Now, it's the Nintendo 3DS's turn. Here, I'm using a Windows 11 handheld to run the Citra emulator with side-by-side stereoscopic 3D video output. It was a bit of a project to get it working, but the result is phenomenal. Of course, emulation allows for these games to run at much higher resolutions, and in many cases with better texture filtering and more stable frame rates. And lucky for us, the XREAL One Pro glasses can display in true stereoscopic 3D, just like the original 3DS, but on a screen that appears about 50 times larger than on that handheld. I will note that Citra requires a custom screen layout and some finagling to support output to the XREAL glasses, but if you're interested, I will be sharing my configuration in the video description below. This combination is really something special. I've been able to go back and experience some of the most celebrated titles in gaming history on what feels like a full 3-dimensional IMAX-type screen. I've said before that mixed reality glasses like these are my favorite development in gaming hardware over the past decade, and the One Pro glasses make it easy to stand by that opinion. I can guarantee you've never played Ocarina of Time quite like this before. Now, if you are interested in picking up a pair and are watching this video at the time of release, I want to let you know about a promo that XREAL has going on until August 15th, which is honestly kind of nuts. For the next 2 weeks, you can trade in practically any working pair of glasses, whether they're AR glasses, prescription lenses, even just regular old sunglasses, and XREAL will send you anything from $75 to $475 back as a prepaid virtual MasterCard after your purchase. In fact, for those of you who did catch my next-gen Virtual Boy video using those original XREAL glasses, if you purchased those glasses back then, they're worth up to $200 towards the One Pro today. So that's a great way to help shave off a decent chunk of that MSRP. Okay, so I've talked about all these great features, so now let's cover some limitations. First of all, for some of you, one of the best things in my opinion about these glasses might actually be a downside. That is, they don't have any internal battery, which means they do have to be tethered to your device through a USB-C cable at all times. Personally, I'm a fan of this because I'd rather have one light cable to plug in than to deal with charging and managing yet another battery-powered gadget. But if you are hoping for totally wireless freedom, this might not be what you're looking for. Also worth noting is these glasses do not have an onboard operating system or basic apps. They are purely a display device. So you'll want to use them alongside a phone, PC, console, or the Beam Pro device for full functionality. Once again, keep in mind ultra-wide curved display mode only works on PCs, and finally, the XREAL eye camera quality is modest, to be generous, especially for taking videos. It's more of a fun novelty than a professional-grade camera, but it might be worth it just for that 6th degree of freedom tracking alone. So, final thoughts. Overall, this is by far the most advanced portable spatial display I have tested to date. It's fantastic for retro gaming, console gaming, PC gaming, or even just watching movies and videos on the go. Plus, that trade-in program definitely helps lower the barrier to entry. Most importantly, this is the first pair of AR glasses that I think I would actually recommend to the average consumer, not just tech enthusiasts like myself. If you're at all curious about the XREAL One Pro, I definitely encourage you to check them out for yourself using the link in the description below. The product is super cool, and I'm always happy to check out XREAL's latest tech. Okay, that's all the time I've got. I gotta get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my next-gen 3DS.